Mr. Sean. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Kopi Janapalapa Girivaradari Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahams Parivrajak Charyashi Turushatashi Shri Madhya Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Rajagranta Shima Bhagavatam Ki Jai Samveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Nitai Gauri Pramanandi All glories to the Summon devotees All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga Om Jnana Timirandasya Piranjana Shlakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Saya Rupakadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpaturubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyarevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare O Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya O Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya O Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 14, Text 28, Translation and Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: sometimes the conditioned soul is attracted by illusion personified, his wife or girlfriend, and becomes eager to be embraced by a woman. Thus he loses his intelligence as well as knowledge of life's goal. Just by the embrace. It's a powerful embrace. At that time, no longer attempting spiritual cultivation, he becomes overly attached to his wife or girlfriend and tries to provide her with a suitable apartment. Again, he becomes very busy under the shelter of that home and is captivated by the talks, glances, and activities of his wife and children. In this way, he loses his Krishna consciousness and throws himself in the dense darkness of material existence. Purport: when the conditioned soul is embraced by his beloved wife, he forgets everything about Krishna consciousness. The more he becomes attached to his wife, the more he becomes implicated in family life. One Bengali poet, Bankim Chandra, says that to the eyes of the lover, the beloved is always very beautiful, even though ugly. This attraction is called Deva Maya. The attraction between man and woman is a cause of bondage for both. Actually, both belong to the Para Prakriti, the superior energy of the Lord, but both are actually Prakriti, female. However, because both want to enjoy one another, they are sometimes described as Purusha, male. Actually, neither is Purusha, but both can be superficially described as Purusha. As soon as man and woman are united, they become attached to home, hearth, land, friendship, and money. In this way, they are both entrapped in material existence. The word Bhujalata Upagudha, meaning being embraced by beautiful arms which are compared to creepers, describes the way the conditioned soul is bound within this material world. The products of sex life, sons and daughters, certainly follow. This is the way of material existence. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Says in the Bhagavatam, Natatastra bhavet klesho, bandash cha anya prasangataha, yata yoshe sangha yata pumso, yata tatsangi sangataha. This is a verse from the Bhagavatam. It says that the amount of suffering, klesho, and bondage, bandash, that accrues to a man by attachment to any other object in this world is not as powerful and as implicating as the attachment that accrues to one by attachment to woman or by association with those who are attached to women. Tat sangi sangataha. So the amount of klesho, suffering, and bondage that accrues to you by attachment to any other object. We are attached to many objects in the material world. My computer, my dhoti, my kopin. So we have many attachments. My cellular phone, my Android, my Apple phone. Like so many attachments we have in the material world. And when those things come up missing, klesha, suffering ensues, isn't it? So the amount of suffering and bondage that accrues to man by attachment to any object in this world is not as intense, is not as powerful and as implicating as the attachment that accrues to a man by attachment to a woman, yoshit sangha, or the association of those attached to women. Understand? Understand? Spiritual life is completely unprogressive once you get attached to a woman. Another verse from the Bhagavatam says, Kim vidyaya, kim tapasa, kim tyagena shrutena va, kim viviktena monena, stribir yashamano hritam. You know the meaning of this verse? You know the meaning? What is the use? This is spoken by Pururava, Aida Gita, 11th Canto Bhagavatam. So what is the use of my knowledge, of my austerity, of my renunciation, my study of the scriptures? What is the use of my solitude for practicing bhajan? Stribir yashamanohritam, when my mind is stolen by a woman. What is the use? Doing so much austerity, rising early in the morning, chanting, doing bhajan. Isn't it? Studying so many verses, learning Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Shastri. But in the meantime, mind is thinking of woman. Constantly meditating on woman. Then what is the use of all those things? Simply thinking, reading Shastra, thinking of woman. Chanting japa, thinking of woman. Forget it. It's useless. Isn't it? 2 hours of thinking of woman. I'm calling it japa. I'm doing bhajan, Prabhu. Bhajan, Hare Hare Krishna, thinking of woman. Sribir Yashamanoritam, your mind is stolen by a woman. What is the use of all these activities? He makes this point. That's a fact. Completely unprogressive once one is attached to Deva Maya, personified Maya in the form of a woman. So there is no discrimination. Someone's going to be upset. Why are you discriminating? So Prabhupada is explaining the purport. Who's woman? Woman means Prakriti. So everyone in this material world is woman, female. And the Purusha is Krishna, male. Krishna is the only male. There's only one male, that's Krishna. So, and everything else that exists is Prakriti, female. So the living entities getting attracted to each other, we're all females getting attracted to each other. That's kind of like lesbian program. In one sense, because we're all female. I like you, you like me, but we're both female category. And so it's lesbian business, actually. There's lesbian business going on in the material world. Because Krishna is the only Purusha, only one male is there, Krishna. So what we suffer from in the material world is called the Purusha Abhimana, the false egoistic misconception that I am the Purusha, I am the enjoyer. So although it is often said that the woman is the enjoyed and the male is the enjoyer, but in the material world, both have adopted Purusha Abhimana as the enjoyer. So woman is enjoying man, and man is enjoying woman. So they're both Prakriti, but they're both acting like Purushas. So this is the bewildering aspect of the material nature, Deva Maya, as Prabhupada has described. So when these two come together with this Purusha Abhimana, then bondage ensues. The bondage ensues. What is that verse? Pumsa striya mituni bhava metam tayormito hridaya granti ahu ato griha kshetra sutapta vitar janasya moho yamaham. That man, pumsa striya, he's getting attracted to female, and female is getting attracted to man. Actually, is woman getting attracted to woman, or because they're both in the Purusha Abhimana, male getting attracted to male. The bewildering nature of the material existence because of Purusha Abhimana. So pumsa striya mituni bhavam, and why are they getting attracted to each other? Mituni bhavam, sex desire. There's nothing else going on. They just call it love and all these things. They give it fancy names so they can delude each other that it's something more than what it actually is. Mituni bhava metam. It's for sex life, actually. That is why they're attracted to each other. Speaking to each other. Confidential talks, but no one knows what is going on. Isn't it? You shouldn't sit like that, Prabhu. Siddhartha Prabhu. You shouldn't sit like that. You should sit like you give a damn, even if you don't. So, why are they coming together? Because the sex life only. There's nothing else there. Having so many talks, confidential talks, cellular phones, text messaging. You mean so much to me. You're like the sun in my sky of the heart. All this junk poetry goes on. Why? Mituni bhava. Sex life, that is the only reason. There's no other reason. That is the reason. Why are they talking to each other so much? Can't stop talking to each other. Sex life, sex desire. Mituni bhavam, that's what the Shastra says. Tayor mito hridaya granti ahu. So from that, there's hridaya granti ahu. Mito, there's a mutual tying of the hearts. Hridaya granti, hard knot comes in the heart. So much so that even if there's separation, Prabhupada's purport, even if there's separation, man is always thinking of woman, woman is always thinking of man. Even if they divorce, or separation by some natural matters, man is thinking of woman, woman is thinking of man. They cannot stop. And from that bondage, from that tie of the hearts, they even do at the marriage ceremony. They call it tie the knot. And it's considered a glorious thing. It's actually supposed to be a reminder of what's actually going on. But they consider it a glorious thing. We've tied the knot, and everyone starts laughing and cheering. This is the illusion of the material world. And then from there, ato griha kshetra sutapta vitar. After that, after getting woman getting man, then griha, you need a house. Because it's hard to have your confidential exchanges in that brahmacharya ashram. So you need your own place. Griha, Kshetra, you need a job. Because you can't maintain broke. Can't maintain the program without any, facility. Kshetra means some facility. And then sons come up, then in-laws, family members, relatives that you don't like, they come up, and wealth is required to maintain the whole show. Janasya moho aham mameti. In this way, one thinks in terms of I and mine. He expands the field of illusions and remains trapped in the material world. Deva Maya. That is a result of association with woman. So, what is the solution then? This is practically insurmountable. Even for great, advanced personalities, they cannot come out of this. That's a fact. Even if you have knowledge, Maya does not care for your knowledge. She can attract anyone. Even those who are greatly learned persons. Another verse is there, and I don't know it. Remember it. Mention that even if a learned person should not sit next to his mother, daughter, or sister, he should not sit next to her, it says. Even a learned person, someone may say, I'm not a pervert. No, it's not about being a pervert. Even if, because I've heard some devotee give an explanation like that. I'm not a pervert. No, who's talking about perverts here? We're talking about learned persons. Bhagavatam says learned persons should not sit next to their mother, sister, or daughter. What to speak of all of us? We ignorant, dull as elephants, isn't it? We're dull-headed, isn't it? We're dumb. In the material world, we have no knowledge, actually. We have no culture, no training. We're quite unknowledgeable, in fact. And it says for those who have knowledge, they should not sit next to their mother, sister, or daughter. That's interesting. Even grihastas, generally, they have practice of staying in separate rooms, even. That practice was there. Because if you come close, finished. Woman's compared to fire, man compared to butter. Even if you put the butter in like a freezer, and it's rock solid, like a very heavy freezer. As soon as you put it next to some fire, how long it will maintain? After 5 minutes, ghee. Ghee is coming. So how long you maintain? Once they come together close, man and woman, or whatever is the attraction of your sexual heart, your sexual psychology. They must come together. How long you maintain before there is a problem? It is not possible. This is what the Shastra says. But you cannot challenge, no, I am now sophisticated, I am controlled in mind and senses, I am not perverted. No, Shastra does, even if you say like that, Shastra says like this, we should follow. Otherwise, you must be in bondage. It's impossible to avoid. So how to get out of this bondage that is bewildering even for learned persons? How to get out? In fact, on account of this attraction, one agrees to remain in the material world. He agrees to remain in the material world. In the material world is like a prison house with no bars. All you have to do is simply desire to get out and you can come out. But we don't desire to come out. Why we don't desire to come out? Because attraction to woman is there. Powerful attraction. So how to get out? There's only one way to get out. That is surrender to Krishna. Esham Suresha Bhagavan Dayayar Ananta Sarvatvana Shritapodo Yadinir Vilikam Tedustaram Antitaranti Chadeva Mayam. Deva Mayam, that word is coming. Esham Amaha Mitidi Shwa Shringala Bhakshe. This verse says, Yesham Suresha Bhagavan Dayayar Ananta. Unto those persons the Lord shows His mercy, Dayayar Ananta, the unlimited, powerful Lord. Unto those persons He shows His mercy. To which persons He shows His mercy? Sarvatmana Ashritabado Yadinir Vyalikam. Sarvatmana Ashritabado. For those who take full shelter of His lotus feet, without, in all circumstances and by all means, Sarva Atmana, means by all means and in all circumstances, They take shelter of the Supreme Lord's Lotus feet. Yadi nirvyalikam, without duplicity. Without duplicity. Then they get the mercy. And what is the result of getting the mercy of Bhagavan? Then that's said, Tedusa ramati taranti judeva mayam. Then you can cross over the ocean, this very difficult ocean to cross, in the form of Deva Mayam, attachment to the illusory energy, personified as woman or girlfriend. Others, Nesham, who do not surrender, Mamahamitidi Shashangala Bakshay, who are attached to, I am this body, this is my girlfriend, this is my wife, this is my home, these are my facilities, then they cannot get the mercy of Bhagavan. They don't, even if Bhagavan comes to, please take it, they will not take. Just like that story is there when Indra becomes a hog, and Lord Brahman says, come, become king of heaven again. No, I have my piglet wife, so beautiful indeed. Indeed, she is beautiful. Just look at those legs. This is a hog. No, look at that nose. Beautiful, wonderful. All that hair, ecstatic. My hairs are standing on end just to see that. And just telling like this to Lord Brahma. And so Brahma kills, and he said, all of my beautiful piglet kids are there too. Such beautiful kids. Look how they sing. Fantastic. And that way, not agreeing to become king of heaven. Hey, this is the situation. This story we hear, we say, how foolish, how foolish, how foolish. But this is a story to demonstrate our condition, actually. But we don't get it. We don't get the point. We say, oh, how foolish. How could you be so foolish to be attached to that hog situation? But our situation is very similar. We are also like worms in stool, because we are attached to a body that's made of all filthy things. Purva says this. Just like a worm in stool is attached to a stool, a filthy thing, so we are attached to a filthy thing also, the body. Body is a filthy thing, meant for Shringala Bhakshay. They're meant for hogs and jackals at the time of death. It's such a filthy thing, but we are attached to it. So we are also like worms in stool. So when Kaviraj Goswami says, I am Lord in Jagai and Mada, and like a worm in stool, we can really relate to that, because we're really a worm in stool, because we are in this body and we are attached to it, which is a stool bag. So without surrender to Krishna, by which we can get His mercy, surrender in all circumstances, by all means, without duplicity, then we cannot cross over the attraction. It's not possible. Sharanagati is required. You know what is Sharanagati? Sharanagati means surrender. Without surrender, you cannot get out of this attraction. Sooner or later it catches up, that's a fact. Nothing to be astonished by that. Hey, Siddharth, what are you doing? What are you doing? Is that 5th canto you're reading? Purport you're reading? So you have to surrender to Krishna. That's the only hope. Te vai vadanti titaranti chadeva mayam. Again, this word comes, another verse, deva mayam. Stri shrudrahuna shabara apipapa jiva yadad bhuta kramamparayana shila shiksha tiryag janat apikem ushrutadharanaye. Another verse, same deva maya comes in that verse too. That one can certainly cross over this deva mayam. Deva maya means what? What is deva maya? Okay, what is Deva Maya? Material existence. What is Deva Maya? Illusory energy. What is Deva Maya? Speak up. Attachment to? Wait, say it? I want you say it. Attraction to woman. This is Deva Maya. That's what the verse says in the purport. We're just reading it. Whatever Prabhupada is told, we are repeating exactly. You giving your own definition, not hearing the purport. Probably Deva Maya means what? Personify Maya in the form of one's wife or girlfriend. This is called Deva Maya. Of course, we already explained the Purusha, Prakriti, all that we explained. So one can certainly cross over this Deva Maya, even if you are Stri, Shudra, Huna, Shabara, Apipapa Jiva. If you are a woman, if you're a Shudra, if you're a mountaineer, Huna, Prabhupada translates Huna as mountaineer. And Shabara means pig herder. In other words, not very intelligent entity. Apipapa Jiva, or you were born in some sinful body, like this one, sinful birth. Apipapa Jiva, all persons can certainly cross over this Maya. How? Yadi abhuta krama parayana shila shiksha. If he surrenders to the pure devotee of Krishna, abhuta krama parayana. Abhuta krama means Krishna who does wonderful activities, like free us from Maya. Abhuta krama parayana means one who's taken shelter, full shelter of that Supreme Lord who does wonderful activities. So it refers to a pure devotee of Krishna. If one takes shelter of a pure devotee of Krishna, Shila Shiksha, by following his example, his character, and his Shiksha, his instruction, then Tiryakjana, even if you're in the body of an animal, like a bird or beast, you can cross over this Deva Maya. The beast will not get attracted to the other woman. Even he can get out of that, which is virtually impossible. Tiryakjana, that's what the verse says. Tiryakjana, even if you're in a lower life form, like a bird or a beast, they can get out of it. So what to speak of those who are Shruta Dharanaye? Shruta Dharanaye means what? Dharana means to hold. So Shruta means hearing. What to speak of those who can hold the shiksha of the pure devotees in their heart? Generally, we don't have any holding capacity, isn't it? So many holes in the heart, isn't it? So sound vibration going in, it generally goes in and goes out. That's pretty good, actually. That's the level up, actually. Lowest level is that it doesn't even go in. Boom, boom, boom. Sorry, no entry. Beware of dogs. No entry. That's usually what happens. Simply sitting for no reason, sitting in the class. Because if I don't sit, then I'll get in trouble, so I have to sit for the class. Otherwise, nothing actually going in. Boom, boom, boom. Prabhupada, in one chapter of Gita, he giving a lecture, he was saying that everyone in the Kali Yuga is a blockhead. Prabhupada said they're all blockheads, and I thought that was pretty funny. Then I thought about it, it's true. A blockhead means one who blocks out anything useful. Blockhead, Here comes the vibration that's meant to liberate us, we block it out. Therefore we call blockhead. Blockhead. Our well-wishers are speaking, we block it out. Then it level up as it goes in, but it comes out very quickly. Another, it goes in, and we try to take it to heart. But there's so many holes in the heart, anartas. So it just seeps out of the heart, nothing is staying. If one is Shuddha Dharanaye, if he can hold the vibrations of the pure devotees in his heart, then he can certainly cross over this Deva Maya. Otherwise he cannot. So only one who surrenders to Krishna can actually do this. And surrender to Krishna means what? It means surrender to a pure devotee of Krishna. Sarvatmana Shritabado Yadi Nirvyalikam. That surrender without duplicity is only possible by the appearance of Sri Guru. Because we are not seeing Krishna face to face at the present moment. Jive sakshat naihi tate guru chaita rupe chiksha guru hai Krishna mahanta sarupe. Kaviraj Goswami says, Jiva sakshat naihi, that we are not able to directly see Krishna. Taita guru chaita rupe, who is the guru in the heart? Chaita guru. Chaita guru means what? Super soul in the heart, who's giving guidance. Tesham stata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddha yogam tam iramam upayanti te. For those who are completely surrendered to Krishna, 24 hours a day thinking of Krishna only, and lovingly, Priti Bhajan, with love they're worshiping Krishna, then Super Soul directly giving guidance to them. Dadadmi buddhi yogam tam yina mama punyanti te. So that may not be us at the present moment. Therefore, that Super Soul comes out of the heart. Externally, how Shiksha Guru Hai? Krishna Mahanta Sarupe. As the Krishna Mahant, in the form of the Krishna Mahant, a great devotee of Krishna, Shiksha Guru, he gives Shiksha, he's the Shiksha Guru, he gives guidance to the soul. So by surrendering to his instructions, that is surrender to Krishna. By such surrender to Krishna, those instructions, in all circumstances, by all means, without duplicity, one comes out of Maya. The association of Sri Guru is our interest into bhajan. And by Krishna bhajan, especially the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We destroy our anarthas, we develop attraction for Krishna, attachment for Krishna, then we develop love for Krishna. And by love of Krishna, Krishna prema, we come out of the material world. Otherwise, this Deva Maya keeps us in the material world, birth after birth. This is the way of material existence. Are there any questions, comments, concerns? Yes?
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the class. You were mentioning that the Super Soul gives guidance to the Jiva when he renders service with devotion and love. So,
to the pure devotee.
To the pure devotees. So in our situation, our condition, is the Super Soul giving any guidance? No.
He's giving guidance, but you cannot understand it. You are attached to a woman, isn't it? Deva Mayam. Oh, Guru, this tree is not letting go of me. The Guru, you know the story?
Yes.
He's saying, oh, the Guru calls, help, help, help. So the disciple comes running. And then he sees a Guru. He says, this tree is not letting go of me. The disciple said, what are you saying? What nonsense you're speaking? And Guru says, exactly. You are attached. The tree not attached to me. I am attached to the tree. So if one is attached to Deva Maya, then certainly he cannot hear the Super Soul. He hears only what his wife or girlfriend is telling him. Isn't it? Deva Maya means Krishna is speaking, but you do not hear. What do you hear? Whatever wife or girlfriend is telling. I hear very attentively. Isn't it? No spacing out there. So if you're attached to Deva Maya, then Krishna, you cannot hear what Krishna is speaking to you. Therefore, you require the help of Krishna Mahanta Swarupe. Krishna comes out of the heart as a Shiksha Guru, who is a great devotee of Krishna, and he gives instructions. So we have to follow those instructions, otherwise we only hear our wife or girlfriend, and we perpetuate our material existence. Understand?
Hare Krishna. I'm wondering how sincere our surrender can be when there's an artist in the heart.
It won't be sincere.
So then how can...
I mean, it won't be completely sincere, but if we're sincerely trying to follow the instructions to make advancement, then that is sincere. What else can we do? We have an artist. So, what to do? Only thing to do is follow the instructions of Krishna Mahanta Swarupa, Shiksha Guru Hai. He's Shiksha Guru giving instructions. We follow that sincerely as we can, as far as possible, by all means capable. Then we can make advancement. Otherwise, there would be no hope whatsoever. So sincerity means we're trying to follow in the footsteps, the instructions, as much as we can. So then we fall short of that. So to the degree we're able to do that, to the degree we'll improve. I'm not so good at so many instructions I don't follow properly. So then I am curtailed. Simple process.
Why do scriptures generally speak more about women against women and against those who are attached to women? It seems that other kinds of relationships are also binding, like one can be attached to his parents or siblings or friends, relatives.
It begins with attachment to woman.
Not
That's what we quoted the verse. And from there, Ato Kshetra, Ato Griha
That's-
Kshetra Sutapta
That's in general, but someone is not married or doesn't have a girlfriend, he can still be attached to his parents. I mean,
These are
someone
all
who hasn't
kind-
even developed puberty.
No, that is okay. Anyway, he is in the material world on account of this attraction. That is what the Shastra says. Prabhupada says that everything that we see going on in this material world is an expansion of the sex desire. So, okay, generally we think of on the gross form, but it also has a subtle counterpart in the form of attachment to labha, puja, and pratishta. Name, fame, adoration, distinction. This is considered the subtle form of sex life. So someone remains attached to his parents. For what reason he's attached to his parents? Because they care for him, he's the center of their life, etc. So that becomes a subtle form of the same sex attraction. But otherwise, to try to understand, see, you're depending on your senses to understand what is greater attachment. People are attracted to other relationships. That's what it appears to you to be. But the Shastra is giving us another understanding. So if we're putting more dependence on our own analysis of how people are getting attached, then of course family attachment is...
Not about our own, I'm thinking of my personal experience.
Yeah, so thinking even of your own personal experience, you're thinking, this is a source of my bondage, therefore I can get out. Of course, family attachment is a great one that's also discussed very abundantly in the Shastras. Family attachment. And so what I'm trying to establish here is that we're not able to diagnose ourselves and understand what is really the cause of our bondage. We have to take shelter of the Shastra and the guidance of the Guru. So he's saying there's attachment to woman. The Shastra is saying like that. And again, I already explained woman earlier on in the class. We're all Prakriti and Purusha Abhimana. I went through that explanation already. So Shastra says this is actually the root of the problem. So we say, oh, that is the root. Then we work on that. Otherwise, if we're giving our own analysis to our situation, then we might be working on something that is actually only symptomatic of something that's much deeper. So therefore, we should take guidance of the Shastra and what the Guru is telling, because they're getting to the root of the problem. We should not depend on our own analysis. That is very dangerous. We need help of Shastra, Guru, Sadhu, like that. I'm answering your question in a different way, but...
Yeah, I was guessing if you would also go into, even among scriptures, those scriptures which we don't regard highly, like say Mahabharata.
We regard Mahabharata very highly.
Not as highly as Bhagavatam perhaps.
Well, Bhagavatam is the commentary on the Mahabharata is described like that, as well as the commentary on Vedanta Sutra.
There are some stories of, I forget the name, Dharmadvaja or some religious
Of who?
hunter. Dharmadvaja is a butcher,
Okay.
but he's considered religious. He's considered to be more pious than sages, some sage, because
Okay, yeah.
he worships his parents like God.
Okay.
And it's from Mahabharata.
Okay.
So, the reason why I brought up this question is, even among scriptures,
Scriptures have two faces, understand? One face, deluding face, and one face, transcendental face. This is the explanation of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Shastras have two faces. Shastra is two-faced. Shastra has two faces. One face, the deluding face, another face, transcendental face. The deluding face is available to the conditioned souls like us. And the transcendental face is available to those who are transcendental, pure devotees of Krishna. So therefore, if we read the Shastra trying to understand ourselves, we are only reading the deluding face of Shastra. And that way we will end up in delusion. So we have to hear the purport of those stories.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about that story in particular. My question is, in general, there are a lot of instructions in scripture about being very obedient to parents and everything. But then there are also instructions, like you said, attachment to family in general is very binding.
So you have to understand from the Guru. My same answer applies. Same answer applies as I'm giving. Just like one of the anarthas in the beginning of bhajan is mentioned as, I forget the technical term, Vyuda Vikalpa, where the sadhaka is thinking, I should become renounced. And he quotes so many verses from Shastras to support that. Then he said, but maybe I should get married and enjoy material existence and then become detached in a natural way. Then he quotes so many verses from Shastras to support that view. And this way he oscillates between both views. This is considered one type of endless speculation. How did he get out of that situation? Because there will be so much, Shastra proves everything. Because Shastra is like a mother, it's described like a kamadenu, a wish-fulfilling cow, who is addressing different living entities on different levels of consciousness. So therefore, you can prove anything you want practically using the Shastra. So then, how to understand what is the conclusions, the siddhanta of those? So for that, we need the help of Guru, Sadhu, like that. Because they can see the transcendental face of the Shastra. So they can help us. And then they also can help us according to our necessity at our particular stage of development. So we should take assistance like that.
Prabhuji, I need your help in understanding two things. First thing is, when the soul is in the womb, he prays to Lord Krishna.
Not every soul. That's actually a rare case. According to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and it's also mentioned by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, that soul is actually a rishi who didn't achieve full success early on. And so that is not true of every soul. So I would venture to say many of us were not praying like that before we took birth. I would venture to say that. I could be wrong though, but if I had to guess one way or the other. It is not true that every soul prays like that. That is a rare soul. Because it is, in the context of where that description appears, is actually talking about the soul who's just gone through hell and just went through all the lower species of life and then got a human form. So we can hardly think through all those tamagun bodies that all of a sudden he's got this like nice enlightenment. And so it's a very rare soul that actually prays in that way, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and also Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, who's quoting this section in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. It's a rishi. So I'm not saying you didn't pray like that, but maybe in humility we can say we can probably guess we didn't pray like that. At least to be humble, you know. I wasn't praying like that.
Take away the entire...
Okay, next question.
There is a second part also. I mean, by birth we get the conditioning, like to be... And in the modern society we have so tiny houses, and there is no way we can be separated from one's mother's sister and daughter. And so it's about the way...
What do you mean by separated?
I mean,
only
if one is brahmachari, he can, like you made a very strong statement here, with such attractions, one agrees to stay in this material world. When we have attraction to, women's. So one agrees to stay in this material world. So unless one is trained as a proper brahmachari, like in a very Vedic way, one cannot, renounce this attraction in those subtle forms.
So that would be true of the modern day brahmachari also, because we're not trained as such as proper brahmacharis.
So my question is, how one can preach his own mind? It's easy I mean, if I see myself, I can explain like, various things, but when I have these defects, they will never be perfect. So how I can preach my mind?
Well,
And
instead
I,
of you preaching to your mind, you can have your guru preach to your mind. And whatever he says, you follow that, like that. As in, the point of this verse is, of these very strong statements of the Shastra, we should note, is to help us understand what we have been doing in the material existence, birth after birth. So therefore, the statements are very strong. The Shastra is actually trying to protect us from repeating the same program that we've already done unlimited times before. So therefore, they make these strong statements. But then it doesn't mean, okay, women are bad or men are bad, or that's not the point. The point is now to live a responsible life according to the guidance of Shastra, how to do it. So there's a way to live in the different ashrams. If you stay in Brahmacharya ashram, there's a way to do that. If you stay in the Grihastha ashram, there's a way to do that. So instead of following the program that we have been following without knowledge of the Shastra, now let's do it a different way with the knowledge of the Shastra. That's what these verses are advocating. So out of 12 great authorities, 8 of them are Grihasthas. So Prahlad Maharaj speaks so heavily about householder existence, and he himself remained a householder his whole life. So obviously we require context. The purpose is to help advocate responsible living, taking the human form of life seriously. That's all. And these are just various ways of telling, take the human form of life seriously. Don't be bewildered by this program that you've already done so many times before. That's all. So in this position or that position, it doesn't matter. Grihe Tako, Vani Tako, what is that? Huh? Sada Hari Bolo Tako. Whether you Griha or you're in the forest, chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Simple. Anything else? Okay then.
Celibacy. We have many reasons why we maintain our celibacy.
Maintain our
Celibacy.
service?
Not having sex.
Celibacy.
Yeah, celibacy.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Sometimes what is the main reason we should have to maintain? Okay, so like I've been maintaining for like 7, 8 years now. But when I walk out the door, it's just like I just started. You know what I'm saying? It's just like women are so attractive that, like you say, we melt like butter, So what is keeping me from melting? That's what I'm saying.
Will it keep us from melting?
What's keeping me from melting?
It's Lord Chaitanya's mercy.
Thing?
It's really Lord Chaitanya's mercy in the age of Kali. Because when you read in the Bhagavatam about Ajamil, that was a Sati Yuga. And he just happened to see a Shudra and a prostitute, making out. And his mind was so disturbed that he couldn't maintain his Brahminical principles. And that was in the Sati Yuga. Now this is the Kali Yuga. As soon as I walk outside the door, making out, everyone is kissing and hugging and embracing. And if Ajamil could not he was properly trained up, he couldn't maintain. And I hardly have any training. How am I able to, even for 8 years, how is it possible? That is Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Because he knows the conditions are really rough. And Kali Yuga, this is Lord Chaitanya's mercy. How to keep from melting? There will be some meltage, no doubt. It is unavoidable. Just like if you keep the butter in like a tray, and like sometimes I do this when I'm making cookies. When I want the butter just to become a little soft but not melt completely, I keep the butter above the stove, but not on the fire, but above the stove. And still you see the butter melts a little bit. So like that, there will be some meltage, but don't come too close to the fire, that's the point. Then ghee. Then ghee is coming. There will be some meltage because we're surrounded. This whole age is contaminated by the association of women. On the packages of the various products that you buy, on the in your email even. You can't even go to your email with peace. You go to your email and then you have a thing that pops up on the side. Come and meet Jennifer. She meets all the criteria that we've analyzed from your email. You like blueberries, she likes blueberries. They find information from your email, and then they find out all the perfect girls that are in the Chicagoland area. For you, it's just popping up right on the side. It's very bewildering. So the whole age is contaminated, and we're contaminated by our association in this way for countless lifetimes. So there's going to be some melting. That is unavoidable. But we should keep ourselves in the association of devotees, in the association of the holy name of Krishna, in the association of the instructions of the spiritual master. And Lord Chaitanya's mercy is there. It is certainly, it will help us. There will be some accidents sometimes that may be unavoidable. For those of us who are not strict, if we're not like that, there will be some problems for sure. I have personal experience with that. There will be some problems if you're not like, I'm getting out of this material today. Then there will be some problems, definitely. If we don't have that type of enthusiasm to get out of Maya, then there will be some problems. And then hopefully we'll learn from getting slapped up by the material energy that we do develop that all right, enough is enough. I'm through with this program. Otherwise than that, we have to tolerate our melting, our getting attracted, and we're getting bewildered. And in the meantime, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Associate with devotees, hear the pastimes of Krishna, hear the pastimes of Gora. And in this way, there's some hope. Lord Chaitanya's mercy is there. That anyone can follow anything in this age is really the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. That anyone even takes books is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. That anyone agrees to chant in this age is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So Mahaprabhu's mercy is abundantly available in so many ways in this age. So we have to count on that. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna. If one chants Hare Krishna but does not take care to avoid the 10 offenses, what is the result?
Repeated birth and death. Bahu janma kare yadi shravanam kirtan tabutai napaye Krishna pada premadan. Adi Leela chapter 8. Bahu janma. Bahu janma means many births in the material world takes place. Yada Hari Shravanam Kirtan, even though he's hearing and chanting holy name of Krishna, Prabhupada just translates the holy name of Krishna. Tabutadnapaya Krishna Pada Premadan. He does not attain Krishna Prema, which is the goal of his chanting, for countless lifetimes. Why? Because he commits offenses to the holy name of Krishna. Bahu Janme Karayadi Shravanam Kirtan Tabutadnapaya Krishna Pada Premadan. That's a nice verse. So that is a result. The result of offensive chanting is repeated birth and death. Bhukti.
The root of the offense, what is the root cause?
We hear inattention is the root of inoffensive. Pramada. Pramada means inattention. Bhajino Thakur says in Harinam Chintamani that inattention is the root cause of all of the offenses. There are 3 types of inattention. One is lethargy. Another is distraction. Another is indifference. These are 3 types of inattention. Lethargy, not getting enough sleep, spacing out during japa. Distraction, even though I'm chanting, thinking about Deva Maya. It's called distraction. The tendency of the mind to go towards sense gratification doing bhajan. It's distraction, that's inattention. And others, indifference. Somehow or other, I'm not caring, no enthusiasm. Just, okay, it goes on, whatever, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Got to do it, whatever. That mood, that is also inattention. 3 types. This is said to be the root cause of all anarthas, or offenses to the holy name of Krishna.
So how does one give up his offenses to the holy name?
Well, you see what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. Primarily, the main remedy, he says, is association with sadhus who have attraction for chanting the holy name of Krishna. That's the primary remedy he gives. He gives a few other things we could try, like trying to chant a little bit more in isolation and then with devotees. He gives a few other, following some prescribed austerities. All these things are very helpful, undoubtedly. But it seems that the primary remedy is association with sadhus who have taste for chanting the holy name of Krishna. That seems to be the primary remedy.
Well, we find in the association of sadhus, we have still offensive mentality, offensive inclination.
Yeah, because we're not humble.
Oh.
So that's a problem. Pratishta sha drishta shapachuramani me hridinatet. Raghunath Das Goswami says, how you expect that sadhu prema to come into your heart when that dog-eating prostitute of Pratishta is dancing in your heart? And like I also like to add, giving a killer performance. Killing our spiritual life day by day. Pratishta sha drishta, the hope for pratishta, recognition, is dancing in the courtyard of my heart. How will I get sadhu prema? So then the remedy he gives is service to Vaishnavas that becomes humble. Then he gives that as a medicine. So we're not humble enough to even do that, then there's going to be a long road to Krishna prema.
Well, it's difficult because we're trained up in the Western world, especially America, to think of pride as a value, that I should be like.
So that is anartha.
They should respect me.
Anartha means false value. Anartha means false value. Artha means value. Anartha, false value. And that's the weakness of heart. Pratishta is a form of weakness of heart, and valuing that, of course, is part of the same. So therefore, coming to the classes is to rewire the hardware. That's the purpose of the hearing program that we're doing. But it may take some time for us to purify our conceptions. But the fact of the matter is, if we don't do it, then repeated birth and death. Aprapyamam nivartante mrityu samsaravartmani ashadadanam purushad ashadadana dharmasya purushasya parantapa, whatever. Like that. Sanskrit words, you can mix them up, it doesn't, as long as it's all in the same verse. No, that's a fact actually. That's a fact. I learned that when I took a few months of Sanskrit with Gopal Prabhu, a devotee here. Those who do not develop faith in this dharma. What dharma? Bhakti dharma. Bhakti means what? 3 things. Bhagavan, Bhakta, Bhakti. 3 things. Understand? Bhakti means there has to be Bhagavan and there has to be Bhakta. Or for there to be Bhakti, the exchange of love, there needs to be Bhagavan, and there needs to be Bhakta. These are eternal entities. Those who do not have faith in this Bhakti Dharma, then what is the result? Aprapyamam nivartante mrityu samsaravartmani, repeated birth and death is the result. Ashradana, faith means sharanagati. Surrender is the external manifestation of faith. So those who do not surrender this Bhakti Dharma because, it is difficult, I have been trained up in this way, I value this thing, okay, fine. Aprapyamam nivartante mrityu samsaravartmani, repeated birth and death. Simple philosophy, therefore very unpalatable. Isn't it? The simplicity of it is so distasteful for the conditioned soul. But for the Krishna's devotee, it's ecstatic. Yes! You don't surrender to Krishna, repeated birth and death. And the devotee becomes greatly ecstatic to hear such messages. Whereas all the profitless speculators, they become very much disturbed. Isn't it? Yes, it's a fact. The devotees of Krishna who are fully surrendered to Krishna, they hear Krishna says, they do not surrender to me, they attend repeated birth and death. Ecstatic, ecstasy, their hair stand on end, they start doing backflips. They become so happy to hear Krishna speak like that. Yes, if they do not surrender, you heard Krishna, if you don't surrender to him, repeated birth and death, brother. But they don't become, it is not that it is not out of envy. They are well-wishers of all persons. They are saying like that as well-wishers. For countless lifetimes we are in this material world because we have not surrendered to Krishna. So they come with the message of Sharanagati. The first bhajan of Sharanagati book, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He says, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Daya Karamuri, something like this. They have descended into this material world. Mahaprabhu has come in this material world with all his associates and with his dham to show mercy to the living entities. First stanza. Second stanza. What is that mercy to the living entities? He came to teach the principles of Sharanagati, which is the life of the devotees. Bhakatera Pran, their life air is Sharanagati. So he came to teach that Sharanagati by which one gets Krishna Prema. And that Sharanagati is the life air of the devotee. So the devotees come with the message of surrender, not to pound it into us with a baseball bat, like surrender or else I'll shoot you or something like that. That is a material idea. They are well-wishers. They want the living entities to become blissful, situated in their Satchidananda Swarups. So they say, surrender to Krishna. And then the person says, what if I don't surrender to Krishna? And the devotee says simply, repeated birth and death, brother. He's not speculating. Oh, if you don't surrender, then this and this, and you can... No, Krishna says, apratyamam nivartante, mrityu samsara vartmani. You don't have any faith in this bhakti dharma, so you're not surrendering. Apratyamam nivartante, mrityu samsara vartmani. Repeated birth and death, brother. That's what Krishna is saying. I'm not saying against you or anything. I'm just repeating as Krishna is told. Do you wanted to know? I'm telling. Are there any other processes I can take up? Yes, there are other processes you can take up. Karma yoga, Gyan yoga, Ashtanga yoga. But the result of those, apratyamam nivartante, mrityu samsara vartmani, repeated birth and death, brother. Because it's not surrender to Krishna, then you have to, if it doesn't bring you to surrender to Krishna, then this is the result. That is a very beautiful message. It is only unpalatable because we're conditioned and we don't want to surrender to Krishna. We want to surrender to so many other great personalities and not to Krishna, so we find it unpalatable. Well, what to do? It will be unpalatable, and nothing can be done as such. The devotee has to speak simply. Nirvyalikam, I already quoted that verse. Sarvatvana Sritapado Yadi Nirvyalikam, without duplicity. That means simplicity. The devotee is simple. Saralata A Vaishnava Atva. Simplicity is Vaishnavism. Simplicity means Krishna told like this, I repeat like that. Simple. I'm not adding my own little extra spin on the thing. What it really, when Krishna says surrender unto him, it means the unmanifest within Krishna. The unmanifest within Krishna is also Krishna. Rascal. Jai. And the devotee becomes totally blissful. All the rascals are being chastised. The unmanifest within Krishna is also Krishna. So when Krishna says surrender unto me, he means surrender unto him. Devotee is simple, as Krishna has told. I repeat, therefore, Bhagavad Gita, as it is. Isn't it? Not as I interpret it, as I think it is, but Bhagavad Gita as it is. Krishna said like this, surrender unto him. And we're saying, so Krishna says surrender unto me. And we say, surrender unto Krishna. Not surrender unto me. We don't repeat like that. That is a false repetition. Krishna says surrender unto me, and I'm also saying surrender unto me. And misguiding so many living entities. No, Krishna says surrender unto me, and we say surrender unto Krishna. Vaishnava is simple. Simple for the simple, complicated for the complicated. Who think they are so, Okay, complicated for the cricket. Who think they are so learned persons, very intelligent. I have my good brain substance, and I will figure it out myself. Why do you figure it out? Krishna just says surrender unto him. Simple person says, Krishna says surrender unto him, so I'm going to surrender to Krishna. Other person says, I will figure it out myself. Aprapyamam nivartante. Samsaravartmini. The path of repeated birth and death is open to you then. Oh, Krishna says like that. We are not. We're just repeating. Well, I don't like Krishna's message. What to do? He's a well-wisher. So we may or may not like. He will say as it is. Hare Krishna.
It says the living entity never tires of the three modes of nature. And he said, women are okay, men are okay, but when they get together, that's not okay. So,
women are okay, men are okay, man and woman together, bad. That's a fact. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.